So in this video, we're going to go over the topic 3.1 and 3.2 study guide. So the first one is writing a function rule. So I will show this one both ways. So both ways you want to write the m, which is going to be change of y over change of x. So I'm just going to pick this ordered pair, and this ordered pair. So then 5 minus 2 over 2 minus 1. So then that's going to give me a slope of 3. I'm going to stick with the ordered pair 2, 5. Now you have 4 to choose from. It does not matter which one you do. And then you plug in the ordered pair and the slope into point slope form. You want to distribute. And then undo the minus 5 by adding 5. Now instead of y, you're allowed to write f of x to show that it's a function. Either way is fine. Now if you don't want to do it the old way, you can do it the new way. The new way is finding a pattern. So the x's are increasing by 1 each time. The y value is increasing by 3 each time. So remember that the slope is 3 over 1, change of y over the change of x, which is, or 3. Now I'm going to pick the same ordered pair I did with the old way. And then y equals mx plus b. So I plugged it into the point slope form. You can plug it into the slope intercept form. It is still a triple substitution. Plug in the y value, the m, and the x value, and then plus b. 3 times 2 gets you 6. Minus 6 on both sides. B gets you negative 1. The only issue with this way is students think that negative 1's the answer, but remember it says write a function rule. So then you have to go back and put it together, which is 3x minus 1, which is the same answer that we got the old way. And once again, you could write it f of x equals 3x minus 1. Now the second problem, I'm just going to do it the new way. So my x's are still adding 1. My y values are actually going down by 2. So then my slope is negative 2 over 1, or negative 2. I'm going to pick 1, 2. Once again, it does not matter. Y equals mx plus b. Your y value is 2. Your slope is negative 2. Your x value is 1 plus the b. Multiply those two numbers. And now you just have a one step, which is adding 2 on both sides. Now remember, the first thing that you need to do is replace the items that you just found. The whole point of doing that was to find the m and the b. So in this case, we found y equals negative 2x, and then our b value was plus 4. Or you could write it in function notation. So either way works. And even if you did it the old way, you should still get the same answer. For this problem, use the guess method. So the given has 270 miles to get there. We've already gone 42 miles. And we're driving at a speed of 70 miles per hour. All right, our unknown, our x is going to be time, because it says a function of time, and models distance, which is our y value. Now for our equation, For these word problems, we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to do y equals mx plus b. And really, the only thing we have to realize is the m. It's our slope. It's the number that's repeating over and over again. And that number here is the 75 miles per hour. So 75 miles per hour goes next to x, because that is changing every single hour. Once you go 1 hour, you go 75 miles. Once you go another hour, it's another 75, so 150. And then you start at the 42, because you've already driven 42 miles. Now, some of you are like, well, what do I do with that 270? Nothing. That was just for the total amount. For an equation to be an equation, you have to have y and you have to have x. So 270 was just an extra number. All right, for this problem, given already written 4 pages, so that's already done out of the way, and then writes 2 pages every hour. Now notice what repeats. It's the 2 pages. After 1 hour, it's 2 pages. After 2 hours, it's 4 pages. But he's already had that 4 pages written, so we have to tally that out, and we have to add that on at the end. So you can use P for total pages, and then I can't see what letter they use, so I'm just going to use H for hours. You can use P equals, and then our rate goes with hours, plus the 4. If you don't feel comfortable using those letters, you can use that. So as long as you have the information written, you'll be fine. And your end answer is an equation. Now for domain and range, so for the domain, write it smallest to biggest. If it repeats, write it once. So our domain stays the same. The range, however, repeats. So you only write the 7 once. -3, -1, 2, 5, 7. So those are already in order as well. -7, -5, 4, 5, 9. So for domain and range, all you're doing is rewriting them. Now it says, which of the 2 tables, 1 or 2, are 1-to-1? Number 2 is 1-to-1. Because the y values aren't shared. And you can also easily tell these are both functions because the x does not repeat. But if you look at number 1, the 7 repeats. So since it is a function, because 3, 5, 7, 8, and 11 all have a number going to it, the 7 is shared, so that would be not 1-to-1. But number 2 is 1-to-1, because every number, every input has 1 output, and it's not shared. All right, for number 3, I recommend doing a mapping diagram. So -4, -3, 1, 3, 5. Write them in order. -11 comes first, -8, 4, 5, and then 7. And then match it up. -4 goes with 7. -3 matches up with 5. 1 goes to 4. 3 goes to negative 8, and 5 goes to negative 11. So this one, sorry guys. So this is a function because every x has one y. And this is 1 to 1 because no y values are shared. So every y value has one line. Now if we do a mapping diagram here, smallest to biggest, negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 4. And then 1, 4 repeat, so I have to write it once. 8 repeat, so I have to write it once. Negative 4 matches up with 8. Negative 2 matches up with 4. 0 matches up with 1. 2 matches up with 4. And then 4 matches up with 8. So once again, this is a function because every x has a y. This is not 1 to 1 because the y value of 4 is shared, and also 8 is shared. So honestly, it only takes one y value, but in this case, there's two y values that are shared. All right, number 5 is not a function because the x value of 2 has two outputs, or two y values. So that means if you plug in one answer into the equation, you get two different answers. That's not possible. And then one way to do a graph is by vertical line test. Vertical. Notice that each line is only hitting 1, so that's good so far. Good so far, but then once you do a vertical line here, you have two ordered pairs. So once again, this is not a function. And that's actually the x of 5. I'm sorry, of 4 has two different ranges. And honestly, if you want to pull out the ordered pair, if you want to make a mapping diagram, just like we did before, that would be totally acceptable. Like this is ordered pair negative 2, negative 2. This is 0, negative 2. This would be 1, 2, 2, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2. So if you want to list out the ordered pairs like that and make a mapping diagram to map it out, you're allowed to do that. Or you can just do the vertical line test like I did. All right, once again, this is just in a table form. So I'm going to do a mapping diagram. So 0, 1, 2, 3 is already in order. Fantastic, so is the y value. 0 matches up there. That's probably one of the easiest mapping diagrams that you can get. So number 7 is a function because every x value has one y value. It's 1 to 1 because there are no shared y values. And then for this continuous graph, right here, so this is definitely a function because it passes the vertical line test. Now, it is not 1-to-1. The reason why it's not 1-to-1, if you pick out an ordered pair, if you pick out one right here, and then you pick out one right here, they share the same y value. They share the same y value of 2 because it's happening horizontally. So this is not 1-to-1. And I ran out of room. So you would just say this is not 1-to-1 because the y values are shared. So something along those lines. And then for these, this is your x value. This is your input. So when you're inputting it into f of x like this, you're just showing the reader that you're plugging in 3 into the actual equation, and then you just solve it. So -3 times 3 is -9, then add 2. So 3 equals, or f of 3, so when you input 3, you're going to output -7, which honestly is just an ordered pair, 3, -7. Now this is a different function, different equation. If we plug 3 into here, remember this is just showing the reader that you have the 3. 5 times 3 is 15, take away 4. And then 15 minus 4 would be 9. So then what that means, you input 3, you output 9. You don't have to write the ordered pairs. This is actually just the answer. So whatever I boxed up is what you could write and get full credit on. And then lastly is just graphing. So here we have m equals -2, b equals 3. So we're going to begin at 3, +3. And then this -2 means go down 2, right 1. And you're going to plot your points. I recommend as many as you can. And then go up to left 1, which is the opposite. Draw your line, extend it all the way through with the arrows. Now you're going to do the same thing for number 14. Sorry, it's just 4/1. That means up 4, right 1. And then your b is -2. So we're going to begin at -2 this time. And then we're going to go up 4 levels, right 1. Up 4 levels, right 1. Till you run out of room. Then go back. Down 4, left 1 is the opposite. And then extend your line the best that you can all the way through.